Hello, St. James. Greetings, everyone. On tonight, St. James and friends. I'm excited about this session with our very own members of St. James Baptist Church. I am excited about this session. We're talking about family dynamics. We're talking about family dynamics on tonight. So as you are joining, if this is your first time joining with us, please just let us know that this is your first time, where you're joining from. And then also, as you are joining, please like and share on your social media outlets. This would be a great opportunity for maybe someone to join in this conversation, especially if they're married, single, thinking about getting married. These are some certainly questions and topics that is certainly good for the family. We are focusing on that right now because this is a very important topic to talk about, especially during this time where the family has been so important, especially during this pandemic. So as you are coming in, please let us know that you're in the room. And then also, if there is anyone that would like to join on Facebook or YouTube, we can do so on tonight. Thank you so much. Just a couple announcements. On tomorrow, we have Bible study, Reignite. We are walking through the book of Job at 7 p.m. Very interactive session. Please bring your questions as well. We are just walking through this particular book, and we will continue on that road as well, walking through other books in the next few months. Also, as we know that there are two storms that are coming through the Gulf of Mexico, and please be lifting up all of those states and even islands that are being affected by this storm. But I want to also highlight that they are predicted to also bring a lot of rain to the Carolinas. These particular storms are supposed to be around for a little while. And so let us make sure that we're still watching it, even though that it's not impacting us right now. We just want everyone to make sure we don't lose sight of those storms. We're praying that they dissipate. We're praying that those things don't happen. But at the same time, we want to be ready as well for anything to happen as well. So this is just preparedness for us as families, as well, keeping the pandemic in mind as well. So again, thank you so much for joining in on tonight. Let's continue to pray for the Barnes family. Frankie Barnes lost her mom, and we want to continue to pray for them and any other family who has lost loved ones during this time. We certainly want to keep them in our prayers at this time. Well, we're going to get this discussion started. I'm ready to get this discussion started. We're going to bring on the Campbells and Johnson & Johnson, as they often call themselves, the Johnsons. And they're going to introduce themselves for those who may not know them, who might be viewing and not a part of St. James. And we'll go from there. So let's bring on the Campbells and the Johnsons. Let's see. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
All right. Thank y'all so much for joining us tonight. So just real quick, this is informal. We're going to ask these questions. It's interview style. We may even have some questions that come from the audience. So if they do come from the audience, I'll put them up and ask that question as well. Okay. So let's just introduce ourselves. Can we start with the Campbells? Introduce yourself, and then we'll go to the Johnsons.
Hi, my name is Vicki Campbell. I am originally from Kinston, down east, North Carolina.
Okay.
I am Samuel Campbell, Vicki's husband, and I am from Kinston, North Carolina as well.
We've been married for 10 years. 10 years?
10 years.
10 years.
Okay, awesome. And how many children do you have?
We have 3 girls. We have a grown girl, she's 29. We have a 17, almost 18-year-old, and we have a 12-year-old.
Wow, good deal.
All girls.
All girls. Okay. So the Johnsons.
Ladies first.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shaughnessy Johnson, and I am born and raised Dermite.
I am Stephon Johnson. I am born and raised in Durham as well. We've been married for 15 years. We have been together for 24 years.
Yeah. 4 kids. Um, 32, 30, almost 28, and 24. 4.5 kids.
4.5.
4.5. Long story. And,
Okay, you got so you got a half going on.
half going on. And a bunch of surrogates.
Okay. Okay, good. So again, so glad to have you on. Thank you again for agreeing to come on as well. So listen, we're going to get into these questions. One of the reasons, I did start talking about at one point with Bishop C. Guy Robinson on one of our first sessions. He started talking about blended families, right? And so I think that we have that scenario here where we have blended families, right? Everybody's a blended family. And so even when I look at the statistics as it relates to married couples right now, most couples are blended families. I think the numbers are increasing, and it used to be step families, and now we're called blended. Those blended families. I think the terminology keeps changing. So I want to talk about those dynamics just a little bit. And I don't think the Johnsons have any kids in the house, right?
No.
Come on. So, these particular questions, obviously, I will be looking to you all as what did you do? Okay. All right. What did you do when they were at home? All right. Okay. So let's talk through this really quick. So our first question is, what are some keys of success that you recommend or that you implement in your family, whatever that dynamic is? And the first dynamic I'm looking at is your marriage and or your immediate family, whoever is living in your home. So what type of keys or principles that you have that you implement in your family, or your marriage to keep things going well? Anybody can speak.
For us, it has been pretty simple. It has been, first of all, faith-based. Do you trust and believe in God? It's love, of course. Just how can I, try to love my wife, and my kids, if I don't have some type of, foundation, as far as that, and just being transparent, with honesty. So as a married couple, that's what we use. And for our kids, that's what we try to teach them. You have to believe in, a higher power other than yourself. You have to love people as you want to be loved, and be an honest person where, people can trust you, because that's the main issue that, we have, even in marriages, because what I found out, and we haven't been married that long, but I'm almost 50, but what I have found out in most marriages, a whole lot of issues come about just due to being transparent and honest with one another. Wow. Not necessarily that they don't love each other, not necessarily that they don't have faith in the process and in God to overcome certain things, but it's just being transparent and honest.
Yeah. Good. That's awesome. That trust piece, that transparency piece. I'm telling you, that's hard for anybody. And so, when you bring in two people in the same space, maybe different backgrounds, different rearings, all of those things, you know, it becomes difficult when you're talking about being transparent, right? And
Right.
trust. But that is just so key. So that's awesome. That's awesome. The Johnsons, anything you want to add to that?
Can you repeat the question, please?
I love it. I love it. What are some of the keys of success that you recommend in your marriage or in your family, or things that you implement? Anything that you would recommend to someone who's, you know, newly married, getting married, already married, that maybe you implement in your marriage or in your family?
Well, I think you got to set a standard for I guess the hierarchy. Who's at the top? The kids have to understand, especially in a blended family, they need to know who's at the top, and get respect that person from, you know, and because for us, I was a single parent for a very long time, so him coming in, you know, they have to understand it's not like he's gonna come in and dad you, but you're gonna still respect him. So I think our key success would definitely be a level of respect.
Okay, level of respect, setting that standard. Okay, so people know, you know, who's in charge, where decisions are made, that sort of thing. Okay, anything else?
I think, well, for me, when I came into the situation, like I said, we were already an established family, and I didn't want to come in and let them walk all over me. But by the same token, I wanted them to understand that I'm here, I'm not going nowhere, although I may not be your father, especially in the beginning, because it was 9 years before we even got married. So I was in there like 9 years as, I guess I have to say, boyfriend and girlfriend. So I couldn't even say, well, I'm your stepdad, because it wasn't. But I wanted you to respect the fact that if your mother is away and I'm in the house and I'm supposed to take care of you, then I expect you to respect me as if I'm in charge. And what I say has to go. And if she's going to back me up with whatever I have to say.
Wow, that's good. And something you just said is that backing you up. You know, I've been around a lot of different married couples, even in my family, and I've seen different things. And sometimes that backing, you know, or that you know, we are one type of front is not always portrayed in front of children or family members. And sometimes that can cause a lot of confusion or play on that, especially if they know who's the weak link or who doesn't agree. And so that's really important to have that backing and structure as well, you know. So awesome. So those are some very good points for those who might be watching, who might be taking notes. I see some folks are taking notes because, you know, they want to have a successful marriage. And I think also, let me ask you this question. This is not a question that was on our guidelines, but I'm going to ask you this question. What do you think a successful marriage is? What's your definition of a successful marriage? I know this off the top. I know, Shaughnessy. I saw your face. This off the top. This off the top. Okay. What do you think? Anybody? What do you think a successful marriage?
For me, I mean, it's really communication, because communicating through anything and any issue, you know, because so many things are going to come up that you're not even thinking about. That's small in the beginning, but you know, it may really turn to be a problem. But it's just communicating with your spouse, and you know, you have to let them know that that's an issue. You can't just not speak up about it because you know you do not know. So communication is just everything, and you can talk to it.
And I think also being able to agree to disagree without being upset or angry, you know what I'm saying, with one another. I think for us that has worked well to be able to, you know, have a conversation. She has her opinion about it. I have my opinion about it. I listen to, you know, her side of the argument. She listens to my side of the argument or discussion, whichever word you prefer. And actually having that dialogue, I can see you know, her perspective, her point of view, and then it starts to make sense. But a lot of times, married couples tend to disagree and never come back to the table and clear the air on whatever that disagreement is. So I think communication and having the ability to just talk about, something. And the prime example would be the COVID-19, right? And I know I'm kind of getting off topic, but kind of like the COVID-19, whereas she may say, well, babe, you need to put your hand sanitizer on, whenever you come out of wherever, right? Anywhere. So I'm like, okay, babe. I said, I understand that. I said, but however, we all go to the gas station. We all pump our gas. I don't see too many people at a gas pump with gloves on, and I don't know, some people do ride around with the hand sanitizer, but I'm just not one of those. And I just trust, that God is gonna, He's gonna look out for me on that issue. So we have a discussion like that, although, to me it's minor, but to her, it's major. So then she tell me why I should do it, and I see where she's coming from. Sometimes I correctly improve my behavior with that, and sometimes I don't.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Good. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I just said communication. As he said.
Okay. Good. Anything else?
Yeah, I guess in my opinion, it's kind of cliche, but the old saying, happy wife, happy life.
Uh-oh. Come on here.
We got to go with that.
Got to go with that. Okay. All right. Okay. So we know happy wife, happy life. Okay. Anything else? Okay. So those are good points. And the reason why I asked that question is because sometimes when we say successful marriage, I think sometimes people think that there aren't disagreements, right? I think sometimes, folks have the illusion in some way that, everybody is just, so happy-go-lucky, walking around the house and everything is just going well. But I think just to point out, especially for those who, have never been married before, have never been in that, committed type relationship. Listen, it's a agree to disagree. It's a communication thing. It's transparency. It's structure. It's all of these things. And if those things are off, then it could cause some other things to be off as well. And so those are some very good highlights. Now let's keep the discussion just a minute. When we think about blended families, and Campbell's, you have 2 in the house right now, right?
Correct.
So, how do you deal with discipline? How do you handle discipline? How do you handle that?
I think we kind of started out good, so that's really not anything that we have to kind of pull out too much. So just when they were younger, we just made, things known just at an early age, no, you can't do that. No, you can't touch that. So, and we communicate to them and talk to them, why not? We don't just say no and just, let them go up to their room or take things away. And, we never operate like that. We always let them know that there's consequences for your actions, that this is why you can't, behave this way or do this certain thing. Okay?
And trust and believe, we did not spread a rod. No, we didn't. I know nowadays, a lot of people, time out, but we didn't. And once again, when you get back to the essence of, faith-based and what I believe, what you believe, and how I was taught and how I was raised, the old saying goes, spread a rod, you spoil a child. And with that discipline as well, it wasn't just go to your room, it was a conversation that took place. So that understand the whys and the why nots. My mother once told me, she was like, I'm disciplining you now She said, because when you get out in the streets, you get 15, 16, 17 years old, these police, they gonna discipline you, but they not gonna love you when they do it. They not gonna do it in love. She said, I'm doing it in love. So I got those type of conversations. So no, we get scatterized, but at the end of the day, as they have gotten older, of course, you transition, then, it's more or less, a conversation, and the do's and the don'ts, and what happens when you don't do those necessary things that that you should do, the repercussions. And some of them, as we know, young kids, old kids, young men, old men, young women, sometimes, one time, one bad experience will change your life, from not being disciplined and not listening and paying attention, so we try to teach those the things that would try to help them be better people and something that could potentially, save their life.
Awesome. So Johnsons, I know, Stephon, when you came in, you mentioned that the family was kind of already established, right? And you kind of had to let them know when you came in that, when Shaughnessy wasn't there, you were in charge, all of those things. How did you all handle discipline in that situation? Because there might be someone out there who is watching in the same way, where that family is kind of like already established and they're coming in as well. And it could be on either side. And because there's so many different types of families, sometimes that man is the one that has the children and, the woman is coming in. So it can be different these days. So can we talk about that a little bit? How did you handle, discipline in that respect?
Let's see, we got to think back a while. I keep wrong. So,
you got to think back a little bit.
I think that we were pretty much on the same page. So as far as if we had conversations about how the kids should be disciplined, so it's not like I would say one thing, and if I told them this is how it was going to be handled, it's not like that would be in left field, because Mama wouldn't do it like that. So we had conversations as to how the situation or scenarios would take place, so that it's not like if I told them something or how it's going to be, that it's not like she would have said the same thing.
Right.
And what I would add to that is that he probably did a better job in their eyes for discipline, because he would have a conversation with them. I just beat him. I mean, that's
let me tell you, that's how I grew up.
I didn't. It wasn't a spare the rod.
Beat him.
I probably preferred his form of discipline than mine. Now I'm sure that they appreciate it now, and he said, "Hope," but I was not sparing the rod.
Yeah, that's how I grew up. Just whip them, just whip me.
Yeah.
And listen, I got those kind of whippings where my grandmother, because my mother she worked so much, and my mom would come home, but my grandmother was like, "Listen, you're not gonna know when I'm gonna get you." So it was like one of those type of, it could come at any time. Type whippings, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah, I understand. That's why, and things are changing, and I think people are becoming maybe a little bit more communicative, I think, with children now than when I was growing up in the 80s. There was no communication about when it was coming. It would,
Right.
right. So that's certainly something I think that is evolving, in parenting, I think. And now, I'm gonna ask you, Shaughnessy, now, are you like that with the grandkids? Now we.
That's so sweet.
Changes all the time.
Are you like that with the grandkids?
No.
Well, you can just send them back home.
That too.
Okay, you just send them back home. So they have fun and they do everything they want to do, and then you let the parents discipline them.
Yes.
Okay, I see how this going. Cause, ooh.
Yeah.
And then it's also different. I notice a difference. So with my mother and my youngest brother, there is an age difference between me and my youngest brother. My youngest brother just turned 17. So I noticed a difference in what I got for discipline and what he gets for discipline. I mean, it's a totally different realm.
Age. It's age. The parents' age.
Is that what you mean?
And the reason why I say that because my oldest daughter is almost 30, and my youngest daughter is 12. And my discipline when I was 20 versus 49 is totally different. You know, because as people we evolve, you know what I'm saying? So then certain things change. You know, like my oldest daughter, it was totally different, you know. But I think, you know, like you said with yourself and your brother, I think it's the age of the parenting, and as things goes on, you know, parents' minds and ideas change about the way they do discipline.
Right. Yeah, because I remember one time we were in the mall and this dude, he just fell out on the floor. And then, you know, when I did that, I won't tell you what my mom did because she might be watching and I don't want, you know, praise God for her to be mad at me again, get a call after this. But look, she's on. See?
I know what she did. You don't even have to say it.
Come on. You know what she did, okay?
Right in the mall.
And then he did the same thing, and I was waiting for it. I was bracing myself.
Nothing.
And you know what she did? She just walked away, and she said, "You know what? When he sees that I'm leaving him, he's gonna get up." I said, "What in the world? Where is this mother that I had?" Because I was waiting for it. I mean, I got scared. Yep, my mom is.
Age. Yeah,
I got scared for him. Nothing happened.
Age.
Ooh, I'm telling you. My goodness. Okay. This is good. So this is a question that I have. Do you have a family mission? And when I say this, I mean, is there something that you learned as a child growing up, or that you didn't learn? Because sometimes there are things that we didn't learn, and as we grow up, we say, you know what? I'm going to make sure I teach my children this, you know, that I didn't learn, or maybe a lesson that I didn't learn. But either you did or you didn't, and you want to make sure that you instill that mission or that principle into your kids. Do you have any of those? So let's start with the Campbells.
I mean, really, I just like to make sure that they're kind people.
They are.
Thank you. Being kind is important to me. I do not like encountering people who are just mean for no reason. So it's just like I make sure that they will just always be kind. They will come off pleasant. They will be respectful, and just treat people how they want to be treated. So, yeah, just being kind individuals, and I think we would really kind of something that we wanted to show them maybe that we didn't get coming up was just being more financially stable, how to prepare, just knowing finances, knowing about credit, you know, just teaching them a lot of things that we weren't exposed to. You know, so we really want to make sure that they know that, you know, the things that they're able to accomplish and that they can do starting from a young age.
Yeah. That's good right there. And something else I know about your family is you do not eat GMOs. Okay, I know that. Okay, I do know that because Chanel was at some church event And they were about to eat some food, and she wanted to know the brand, and she wanted to know what is it. She was like, "Oh no, that's GMOs right there. That's GMOs."
I mean, I think it's important. You know, like as we as parents, you know, gain knowledge about certain things that could be beneficial to our health and for our health. I think it's only right that we try to pass it on and teach our kids, you know, really what's going on in the marketplace. Because a lot of times we really don't teach our kids, you know, what's going on in the marketplace. And with Chanel's situation, we definitely have to be careful and mindful of the things that we do pick up, the choices that we do make when it comes down to food, because of course, we all know as adults, food is directly related to a lot of our health issues and a lot of our health concerns. So that's really part of the whole, you know, non-GMO, you know what I'm saying, deal. And once you realize that non-GMO isn't very much more than GMO, you know, spend an extra 50 cents, you know, try to get rid of the high fructose corn syrup, you know what I'm saying, if you can. Because a lot of people don't know that your liver really doesn't process that high fructose corn syrup. So a lot of guys like myself that has these bellies, it's from the high fructose corn syrup, you know, that swells our liver up, you know, and that's just, you know, honest.
Yeah.
So we try to pass it on to them, you know, so they can make better choices because they won't always live at home, you know, and, you know, you want to be healthy as long as we can, you know, for them, and to try to teach them to be as healthy as they can for themselves.
Right. Which is so true. And I think even if we talk about, you know, just the African American culture, you know, of eating, you know, it's something that we all have to tackle. I mean, I do very well as an adult. I'm like, probably most people know I'm originally from New Orleans. So eating, I mean, fried food, you know,
right.
Fried fish, everything. And then, you know, most of the seafood is really, really high in cholesterol, especially the shellfish and that sort of thing. And, you know, all the cheeses and, you know, all the spices and everything that goes in that, all the salt, all the sodium, you know, those are things that certainly as an adult, I had to change for myself. For a period of time, I was vegan, and I have kind of backed off that a little bit because I miss seafood so much, you know, just being from New Orleans. And every time I would go home, it's like, what are we going to feed you? So I did incorporate some seafood back into my diet. But it's really, really true because, like, for example, you know, when I was 25, I started having high cholesterol. And it was high for a long time. And it was basically because, and if somebody say they're getting hungry because we talk about food. What's up with that? But I mean, if you think about most of our gatherings, it's around food. If we're going to discuss something, let's go to lunch. Right. Let's go to dinner, right?
Yes,
and
ma'am.
So, you know, we really do. It's a great discussion, you know, for families is to have that discussion as well, because it does impact everybody, right?
It does.
Yep. Good deal. That's good right there. Okay, so do you have anything to add, Johnsons? Anything that you taught your kids that, you know, when they were there, that was something that you learned or maybe didn't learn growing up that you wanted to make sure that they knew, they understood, they applied to their lives? Anything you want to add there?
I just always try to tell them to be better than what I was.
Okay.
That was pretty much it.
You like Jesus, talking about greater works shall ye do. Come on, yeah. Okay, what would Jesus do?
Come on.
That's good. That's good. That's good. And I think every parent wants that, right? I think most parents want their children or grandchildren to do even more and to succeed even more. So that's that. Okay, awesome. Okay, we're gonna talk about grandparents. Y'all ready? Y'all saw those questions. We got some guideline questions. I know you saw them. Okay. I know Campbell.
That's for the Johnsons. We don't have any grandkids.
That's why I'm saying. I know Campbell's not yet. Okay, but I want to talk about this. So, in what ways do you stay involved in your grandchildren's lives? In what ways?
I'm always involved.
Yeah, I know. Let's talk about it.
I guess I just want to make sure that, that they know us, that they know that we love them. I do some of the school stuff, I go to the child development, parent involvement. I go to some of those activities. They'll visit. I go to their houses. I pop up. I do lots of pop-ups.
Yeah.
So they know now. I remember an episode at the church one time where somebody went to him and said, "Hey, are you Shauna's grandchild?" And they kind of looked lost and was like, "That's my now." Like, they didn't know who Shauna was. They come in and pop up.
Yeah. Well, I know that when it's football season, I know that that when it's certain seasons, you know what I'm saying? That this virtual church is gonna be good for y'all, during this football season because y'all at the games, okay? Yeah.
He grown.
Somebody say right. We do sleepovers. Hold on, who is this? Kim Robertson. We do sleepovers. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
There you go. So here's another thing. How do you balance wanting to rescue your grandchildren and respecting your children as parents?
You mean we supposed to respect? I think my adult kids have pretty much learned that mom is going to have some of the, I'm not going to say the final say, but a lot of say. Even so much of the fact that when something happens, I know they'll call and they ask. A balance, I honestly don't know that I have. Because like I said, I'm involved a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's hard to balance. I think that's a hard one because grandparents want to rescue their babies. It just is what it is. But I know that on the flip side of that, your children are parents, right? And so it's kind of like, Mama, Daddy, type thing. So that was just a good question that I wanted to ask. How do you balance that? I know that's hard, and probably most don't balance that too well. But
I know I'm not going to do anything to steer them wrong.
Right, of course.
So I think that's the fact that they can trust me enough to know that I'm not going to tell them anything that will harm them or people. So.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Here's a question. Have you ever overstepped your boundaries?
Yes, you have. Yeah.
I mean, probably yes. But they haven't told me. They're probably talking about it amongst themselves, but they haven't told me.
It was out of love, though, right?
Exactly.
All right.
You helping her out. You helping her out.
Right.
Okay. You helping her out. All right. Okay. So yeah. Look at that. You see that smiley face?
Thank you.
You see that solid face? Okay, overstep your boundaries. Okay, so here's another question, and maybe did any of your children and grandchildren ever live with you at the same time?
Children and grandchildren at the same
Yeah.
time? No.
Okay, because I know we had that. I didn't know if so. I'll move on from that question because sometimes you have that dynamic, right? I mean, a lot of times that happens at some point where everybody's kind of in the home, together. And so I was going to ask a question about that. Any advice to grandparents in that session? So let's talk about marriage, family, and the pandemic, if you will. Just a little bit of that. So what has the pandemic taught you about your marriage? Anything?
To be honest, it really haven't taught me too much. And the reason why I say that is because our lifestyle really hasn't changed. And what I mean by that is that, like, I have the type of job where during the pandemic, I'm still considered an essential worker, right? So by me being an essential worker, we haven't gone through some of the financial ills that a lot of people had to endure. Of course, my wife is a stay-at-home, wife, so our dynamic haven't really changed. So it really haven't changed what we do too much, other than just being mindful when we do go out, to have the necessities that we need. But other than that, because I've been going out since day one, it really haven't changed, and we really haven't gone through, the financial burden, which a lot of people has unfortunately, gone through.
Right.
So
it's the same for your marriage. Okay. Johnson's, anything?
No, I don't think. Well, ours didn't change much either because I guess if you consider Burger King essential, I guess I would be considered an essential worker. But
Right.
I mean, I guess for a few months, the company did cut our hours back, so we had to readjust a few things, and then they gave us our pay back, so we kind of almost back to normal.
Gotcha.
right.
Too much change. Other than my wife just went around finding every food pantry around that she could, so I guess that kind of helped out.
Listen, so I watched Shaughnessy's, I don't always have a comment, but I watch your Facebook feed because listen, if there's a deal at the Family Dollar, you're gonna see it on Shaughnessy's page. Let me tell you something. If there's an accident on Main Street downtown, you're gonna see it on Shaughnessy's page. You hear me? If there is a police speeding trap somewhere, she gonna say, "Don't you dare go down club," because they sitting there waiting on you. Slow down. So I don't know. I think we should give you some type of badge or something for going out. Like you like the news, like Johnson and Johnson news station. You know what I mean? So when I'm in Durham, I'm like, let me go see if there's a speed trap somewhere. Somebody said she is undercover. Kim, she said she's undercover ABC 11 anchor woman. I believe it.
It's good work, Shaughnessy. That's good work.
That's good work. You're doing good work. look at that. Our eyes on the
community. That's right. Yeah. Listen, so you've been awesome with that. Let me tell you, you are awesome with that. Kudos, hats off. Okay. Now here's another question. I know that you have children. Has the pandemic
Have you noticed anything different about the children or grandchildren, if you will, during this time?
For us, with Chanel being sick sometimes, I think we were kind of prepared. We have moments like this in our family. We have to, just figure it out, work it out. So Chanel has times where she wasn't in school anyway, where she had to be away from kids. So these are things that, unfortunately, that we've already had to deal with. I think because Kennedy's a little bit younger, she was just starting middle school. I think she kind of missed that aspect of it. But for the most part, they seem fine. They, have the, I don't have an iPhone. What is it called? FaceTime. What do you guys call it? FaceTime on the iPhone?
Yes,
so,
FaceTime.
Their friends,
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait. You don't have an iPhone?
No, ma'am.
Android.
Y'all Android too, right, Johnsons?
Are they froze?
No, they don't.
Android. Come on, Androids.
She said she had both. But yeah.
So they've been okay. They've been,
But I think Kennedy though is really missing the social interaction.
Okay.
Given her age, it's cool to be able to video chat or whatever they do, over the phone, but just, being able sometimes to put your arm around, a friend that, or just have a up close and personal conversation, laughter, lunchroom, gym, just being a child. I think she missed that, and I think it impacts her more than Chanel because, of course, now she's a graduate, in college. So the dynamics are different, of course, for a 12-year-old than it would be a 17, getting ready to turn 18-year-old. So I think it impacts her the most, the social, just the social aspect of it.
Yeah. Okay. And what about you, Johnsons? Have you noticed any impact on your grandchildren or anything like that with the pandemic?
Not really, because they usually just kind of play among themselves in a way. Siblings and cousins, they kind of born as siblings. As far as being away from like students, like other students in school, I'm not quite sure. I think they are enjoying being at home.
Okay.
For the kids, the adult kids, we're all essential, so think. So this is just a matter of just kind of being tired at some point. Still
Okay.
Go forth yeah.
Okay. Listen, we got a question. Here's a question. How do you keep the fun through the years? I want to grow old with someone, but not grow old. Okay. How do you keep the fun through the years? I saw Shaughnessy laughing. You want to go first?
Well,
have your kids early.
Yes.
Have your kids early. Okay.
And I think that is kind of what that's not necessarily being the older parents, but because the kids are older, we have a little bit more freedom, so to do fun stuff. And I guess that would be something as far as the pandemic. I'll be glad when it gets closer, so we can maybe venture a little bit. We're home for the most part.
Done. Okay. Have your kids early. Okay. Right. Okay. Anything else? Any other Campbells? Anything?
I just think you have to you know, enjoy the person, you know, that you married to. You know, I mean, and this is what I had to do before I met my wife. I used to be the type of guy.
Look at you.
I used to be the type of guy that like females, you know, with the jewels, you know, the rings on every finger, you know, the three, you know, bracelets on the wrist. You know, I was into the eclectics, you know what I'm saying, the looks. But then as I got older, one day I looked in the mirror and I was like, this doesn't work. You know, this is not working for me. You know, the labels aren't working for me. Yeah, they look good. Yes, the jewels look good. The earrings look good. Your hair look good. But then, you know, I had to rethink what I desired and what, you know what I'm saying, I felt was right for me. So, you know, when I met her, she didn't have on, you know, the jewels. She didn't have on, you know what I'm saying, you know, 5 rings across her finger. You know, she was just her, you know, and that's why I enjoy it. And once I did that, you know, we started talking, built a relationship, and I fell in love with her personality. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily, you know what I'm saying, her beauty. Yes, to me, she's beautiful. However, you know what I'm saying, I enjoy her personality. You know, so, you know, the beauty was a plus. So a lot of times as guys, we look at the different things. We look at the wrong things. We look at the silhouettes and, you know, those type of things. But, you know, it came down to, you know, I had to do some soul searching myself. And I think a lot of guys fall into that trap. And I'm not going to say a trap, but they fall into that type of mindset until they realize that, you know, this not working. You know, so, and just having conversations, it just worked for me. And it has turned out, you know, to work for us. I've been knowing about 13, 14 years. We've been married 10 years. And it's been fun for me, you know, every step of the way.
Yeah, we have fun together. We laugh a lot. We're, you know, really silly around each other. Just like you said, just our personalities go well together. So, you know, we just keep each other laughing. You know, it's about fun. Everything isn't serious, you know, all the time. And, you know, just enjoy each other. But you got to choose the right mate, because if your personalities don't match, then, you know, how can you have fun and have that joy and that laughter with somebody?
Right. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, good. Now, last question of tonight. If there is, and I think there's, you know, some folks who are thinking about getting married on here from what I can see. There's some folks who are newly married as well. Any advice on getting through the first 3 years? I know statistically, the first 3 to 5 years or 3 years of a marriage statistically is just very difficult, especially if someone has been single a long time or any of those things. Just any advice that you would give for young married couples or those who are thinking about getting married?
For me, I think I say, I hear people say you got to get 50-50. I don't agree with that. I think everybody has to put in their 100%. So if this is the person that you love and who you want to be with, you have to give that 100%. You can't just easily fold and give up because it gets tough. You know, give your everything, you know, give that 100%.
I would say this, don't mistaken looks for love, and don't be pressured into getting married until you feel like you're absolutely ready. I think that's where the rate comes from. You know, people get married for all types of reasons. Sometimes it's financial, sometimes it's children, you know, sometimes it's pressure from family members. But I would tell anybody, if they're not married, wait until they're ready. And when they're ready, I think the marriage will sustain, you know, because we see so many people getting married because their friend got married last year, Their guy friend or girlfriend got married 2 years ago. Now everybody's married except for them. But what I would say, don't get married until you get ready. I think I was 38 before we got married, 37, 38, something like that. And but I told my mom I wouldn't get married. If I didn't get married before I was 40, I wasn't gonna get married. And it sounds crazy, but I just felt, who wants to marry a 40-year-old guy and in 5 or 7 more years, he may be sick and breaking down. So I didn't want to put that responsibility on someone else. You're a newlywed, been married, a couple of years, and now you sit beside bed. So, maybe I overthink things, but it's just, I tell them, don't get married until you absolutely sure that you're ready, because it's a huge commitment. And if you're not ready, you're not going to honor that commitment. And that's where that 3-year, statistic comes from.
Yes.
People just aren't ready.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Thank you so much. Johnson's?
If I had anything to add to that, I think, and I don't necessarily know within the first 3 years, but find other married couples that you can, have conversations with, hang out with, go to movies, dinners, and whatnot. And that way you can kind of find out some of the things that they do to make their marriage work, and vice versa. So it's fine to have single friends as well, but it's good if you're a married couple to find other married couples that you can have conversations with.
Very good advice. Yep. Very good. Anything else?
What was the question again? I think
Any advice?
Well, definitely don't rush, like Sam said. Like I said, we were together almost 9 years before we did it. I had been married before, so I definitely wasn't in a rush. But once the time came, we were 45 when we did it. I wanted to rush. I don't think.
Come on now.
Okay, I wasn't ready. He's my husband. But I would say communication. Don't rush. Make sure that he is your mate, which I had kind of already explained that in the beginning. And like Vicky said, you got to be 100% there. The same way you in at your job, you got to do that at home as well. It's work. Everything is not always roses. It's a job. And when you get frustrated at work, you get frustrated at home. So you got to put your all into it.
Yeah. Good. Well, thank you all so much for your time, for your advice, for your willingness to come on. I definitely appreciate it. Listen, Stefan, you did good. Oh my goodness. Again, thank y'all so much for doing this. And certainly I look forward to having more conversations as it relates to marriage and family over the years. So I hope that you all are willing to be on a panel again, maybe sometime in the future, as maybe we'll talk about some other things. So thank you so much for your time tonight.
Yes, ma'am. You're welcome.
All right. Y'all have a good one. Bye. Well, listen, this was an awesome session. I'm just so excited that we had this session. If you have any other questions, we can as well look at those questions, send them to us as well. And to all of you who viewed tonight, thank you so much for being on. As you know, these live sessions are informal conversations, and we are focusing on the family. We're going to take this into September because what nothing else I think the pandemic has highlighted to me is how important family is. People have been quarantined, not with their coworkers, they've been quarantined with their family. And so this is been a highlight, and there's so many decisions that people have to make now with school and kids playing sports and all of these things. So we want to continue to talk about families, all different types of families. And so again, thank you so much for your attention and for staying on tonight. And we, again, hats off to the Campbells and Johnson & Johnson for being on tonight. Y'all have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you on tomorrow night for Reignite Bible Study at 7 p.m. God bless.